this intro to your movie?
Well, now that we're all in quarantine for the foreseeable future, I thought it'd be a good time to take a look back at my first year of college. It started out pretty rough, and it took a while for it to get better. I only actually sat down and talked to the camera one day out of the entire year, and that was the night before the first day of school. I have never been more confused in my entire life. Tomorrow, I am starting my first day of college classes, which I'm super excited about. But things are not quite as I would have expected. Let me give you a little context. So in high school, I really found my passion in filmmaking, and I really enjoyed what I was doing, and I actually took a gap year after I graduated high school, filming and doing incredible stuff, and I absolutely loved what I was doing. And the next step for me has always been graduating from college, and filmmaking I saw was definitely what I wanted to be majoring in, yet I'm in a state of questioning even if that's what I should be doing. I am a freshman at the University of Tampa majoring in film and media arts, and I think there's something else going on here that I don't know about. So during this past summer, I got an email from the university offering an international study program in Costa Rica for 2 weeks before school starts, and it's only available to honors incoming freshmen. I jumped on that pretty fast because I've had one really awesome travel abroad experience in the past. My junior summer year going into senior year, I went to Cuba for 3 weeks, and that was awesome. There were challenges, like every normal trip has its own problems, but what I got out of that I thought was really valuable. I applied immediately and got a phone interview. That went well and was accepted. Things seemed to be going well. I was wrapping up my gap year, looking forward to traveling to Costa Rica, which this course, on top of just a great experience, you actually got 8 credits before starting at the college. I was totally willing to do all of that work along with, filming what was going on, possibly making some sort of travel video, nothing too serious. Things moved along okay. There was sporadic emails here and there with some updates and things we had to fill out and all the paperwork and stuff, including payments. For this trip, apparently the tuition for the 8 credits was all scholarship, so basically you're doing all that work for free. However, to pay to go on the trip, that was $5,500 for a 2-week trip. I guess that's a minor red flag, but they've done this program before in years past, and they have testimonials of people saying they absolutely loved it, so I knew this is what I wanted to do. A month before the actual start of the program, we got our first contact with the professors, which we had no clue who was leading the trip, and it's these 2 professors. And they gave us information about the coursework and all the pre-work travel stuff before actually going on the trip, which was a significant amount. A 3-page paper and a 5-page paper all had to be written before we actually went on the trip. Hey, that's just college, I guess, right? I was actually the first person to submit all of my documents, and I submitted both of my papers a few days before the deadline. I thought I was being proactive and doing the right thing. 3 days before it was time to fly down to Tampa to meet up with the group and go on the trip, I was at a recreational gymnastics thing I was just doing once a week for fun and fractured my ankle. I was pretty bummed. It was all my fault. not blaming anybody else for anything that happened there. And I went to an orthopedic specialist and explained my situation of going to Costa Rica in just a few days. And he said, you know what? I think you can go on the trip. And he gave me medical clearance to go on the trip to Costa Rica. I was in a boot and on crutches for what would be at least 6 weeks and had to be non-weight bearing, but he did not see any issue with me continuing on to the trip. The next day, I informed both of my professors that this happened, but I got it all checked out, and the orthopedic specialist said, you can go on the trip to Costa Rica. The email finished by saying, I like a challenge, and I'll see you in a few days. A day goes by, and I didn't get a response. To this day, I have not gotten a response on that email. The day before I leave to fly to Tampa and move in all of my stuff and go on this trip, I got an email from abroad@ut.edu. It reads, Hi Stephen, as you are aware, the Spartans Academy Abroad is a physically rigorous program. There are multiple required physical activities that are academic in nature, not experiential. Therefore, it is imperative that each student is physically able to participate in these activities. Due to your recent ankle injury you sustained, our office has determined that your injury would prevent your participation on these academic experiences, therefore inhibiting the academic integrity of the program. Furthermore, the health and safety of our students remains at our top priority. Our office has made the difficult decision to prohibit your participation on the Spartans Academy Abroad program. We understand this is a disappointment, but assure you we will work with you to recover all eligible costs. Should you have any questions or concerns, please feel free to contact us. Sincerely, Education Abroad Advisors. That's it. Not a single name is attached to this email. They list a phone number at the bottom, but they sent this email on Friday at 5:38 p.m. So once I called this number, they're out of the office. And they'll be out of the office until Monday, when I am here to go on the trip. Okay? This was the only form of communication to me. They have my phone number, did not receive any calls. To me, this was a huge red flag. I replied, copying as many people I knew that I had been in contact with, here just trying to get an answer from somebody, explaining, because the first email did not explain at all about my injury. So I tried to explain this is a pretty minor injury, required no surgery, no alterations at all. It's a non-displaced fracture, so it's all going to heal just fine. And I requested an in-person meeting with the 2 professors, academic advisors, anybody who would be willing to talk to me. I finally was able to meet with them after their sort of orientation thing, and let me tell you, I was not impressed. One of the professors I really felt empathized with me. He saw my situation, he knew this was not ideal, and was really sorry that this happened to me. The other professor could not care less. He didn't introduce himself to me. He didn't provide any information on why this decision was made. He didn't say too much, and then had to leave right away. I was able to talk with some of the other staff people after the professors left, and they were very sincere, and that made me feel a little bit better, like somebody was actually on my side. You know, whatever, this is just kind of a one-off situation, a cool experience I would have enjoyed having. It would have been nice to have those 8 credits just like that. And, you know, it wasn't specifically tied to my film major, so I was definitely disappointed, but, like, I'll have more experiences in the future.
Lol. Rip.
I flew home, 2 weeks went by, I flew back, and a few more red flags pop up. I would say I am glad I fractured my ankle because I should not have been on that trip. 2 other students had to fly home halfway through the trip, one of which was because of a broken ankle. But hey, that trip is not the reason why I'm here. I'm here to get a film degree and make motion picture movies in whatever form they may be in the future. I have really been impressed with the number of very nice people here. Coming from Minnesota, which is stereotypically Minnesota nice, people here are also very nice, especially being on a boot and crutches. People always wear, especially being in a boot and on crutches, especially being in a boot and on crutches, people everywhere are offering to hold the door, and that is really nice. Trying to navigate a new campus, even if I was able to walk perfectly, is challenging. I've been really fortunate to be connected with campus security, and they've been willing to give me rides to most of the places that I need to go on campus. Those guys driving the golf carts are incredible people. There's a lot of really awesome people here, but something's not right. So for dorms, I chose to live in the honors dorm and was lucky enough to get in. My roommate and my 2 suite mates were all random from different parts of the country. I was upfront with these guys and told them I think something a little fishy is happening here, and they were very open to sharing their opinions.
Good chair, bro.
Actually, this chair is mine.
Wait, are we allowed to do you want it to be as natural as possible?
As natural as possible, like whatever you guys want to say. We're trying to uncover what the University of Tampa is actually like. What are your opinions?
Well, I've heard from multiple sources, just out and about. I knew a girl here, she's a sophomore these days, and she is a very avid partier, and that is what this school is about. I'm sure about it.
So we all attended the honors symposium thing, the
first
orientation. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
yes.
They had one fact that I thought was really interesting. There's 400 honor students
Yep.
right now.
Yeah,
Next year there's
dude.
100.
Yes.
So 1 in 4 honor students will continue being honor students.
Dude,
It's
I'll
end
tell
of the
you what.
year.
I think a lot of that is gonna be kids who get stressed out, who can't keep up with the workload. But I think a lot of that is gonna be kids who got caught up in the party scene.
So where do we go from here? Tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. I have my first college class. I'm going in at this head on. I have jumped over a significant number of hurdles to get to this point, and I really want this to go well, but just before this all starts, I'm saying we got some red flags. One final note, I had a delivery of some just dorm accessories that would be nice to have, and I got an email from their mailing department here saying that if you deliver the package, if it's delivered before, about a week before school starts, they will deliver it to your dorm room, just all for free, so it'll be in your dorm, ready for you when you get here. I was like, wow, that's awesome. Came into my dorm, no package. Okay, maybe they just missed it. Went to the mailing department, stood in line, talked to the lady. They went in back, about 5 minutes. She comes back, calls over the supervisor. He checks the system, checks him back. He says, I see you're on a boot and in crutches. I don't want you to be standing here. How about you give me your phone number so I can call you when we figure out the situation? That was 4 days ago. Not gotten a call back. I don't know what's going on here, but I feel like there's something that we don't know about. My first day of school did actually go pretty well, but it took a while before I started to feel like my old self again. To answer my question about there being something we don't know about here, there's nothing that I've found that's really major. There are quirks here and there, and I would say communication overall is not at the highest level, but with our recent issue of the coronavirus, they actually started sending us updates back in January before this was like a major problem in the US. So they were pretty on top of that, which I'm happy about. I tried pretty hard to sort of fit in, but I quickly learned that I was not going to fit in. I decided not to share most of my experiences except for just like the finished projects that I made because I really was unsure. I questioned myself a lot. In my dorm on like the window ledge, I started a little quote wall. And the first quote that I wrote and put up was never forget who you are, because like I just didn't feel like myself, and remembering what I've done and who I am really helped me come back to reality, I guess. Once I got connected with the film department, I definitely felt like I fit in quite a bit more, and I've made some really great friends and had some great opportunities. Even though the start of this school year was particularly painful, I still learned a lot, both academically and also personally. Like living in a completely new city and not knowing a single person before you got there, that's a challenge, and I'm very thankful for all the friendships that I've now made and I was able to make on my own without the support of anybody else. I would say one of the highlights of this year was definitely the winter intersession class I did in cinematography, and it was 4 credits, and there was only 9 other students and hardly anybody else on campus. It was pretty cool because we were just like sitting in class for 8 hours a day, just like studying and making films, and I absolutely loved that. And just roaming around Tampa with my good friend Bo was definitely a good time. I didn't film a lot sort of for personal use. It was really only for like class projects and things like that. And I do kind of want to, moving forward, if we're actually like in person for next year, I want to film a little bit more just to remember all of the good times, because it doesn't last forever. I hope you're all staying safe, and I'll see you next time when hopefully our world is slightly more put together. I also miss Bing Bing on campus, so that's kind of a benefit of being home.